I need to tell you something you might not want to hear. You are not in control. You think you're making choices, that you have the power to decide how your life unfolds. You convince yourself that you can quit whenever you want, that you're the one in charge. But in reality, that's just an illusion. You're trapped, not by concrete walls, but by something far more dangerous, an invisible prison forged in your own mind. Consider the cravings you can't escape, that need that calls to you relentlessly. Whether it's alcohol, social media, food, or the need for validation, it keeps returning no matter how hard you try to ignore it. You've promised yourself it will end, but it never does. You're no longer in charge. The addiction controls you. The truth? The real trap isn't the behavior itself. It's the mind that's been conditioned to repeat it. Let's take a step deeper. To truly understand addiction, we need to explore the mind. And no one understood the mind better than Sigmund Freud. Freud didn't just study behavior. He unraveled the hidden forces shaping it, the unconscious mind. For Freud, our actions aren't always driven by conscious decisions. Beneath the surface, there's a deeper layer, filled with memories, desires, and unresolved conflicts we aren't even aware of. Addiction, he believed, wasn't simply a lack of willpower. It was a symptom of something buried deep inside. Freud's theory of psychosexual development reveals something crucial. He proposed that our early childhood experiences shape who we become. If certain needs aren't met during critical stages of development, it can lead to emotional or psychological struggles later in life. Addiction, according to Freud, could be the result of these unresolved issues. Take the oral stage. For example, if a child's early needs for comfort, nourishment, and security aren't properly addressed, they might develop what Freud called an oral fixation. This could manifest as compulsive behaviors in adulthood, addictions to substances, habits, or even emotional patterns. Addiction is not simply weakness. It's a deeper cry for help from the subconscious. Now, let's confront a lie that society constantly feeds us. Addiction is a sign of weakness, a lack of willpower. We're told that if you truly wanted to, you could just quit. But that's the biggest misunderstanding of all. Addiction is not a personal failure. It's a symptom of something much deeper. Imagine your mind as a house. Addiction is like a crack in the foundation. It's not the cause of the problem. It's the consequence. The real issue is buried deep in the structure of your mind, in the unresolved pain and trauma you've been carrying for years. Freud understood this. He didn't believe that addictions sprang out of nowhere. They are the mind's way of dealing with something it cannot face. Addiction is a coping mechanism, a defense mechanism. It's a way to numb the pain, to escape the things you've buried so deep you can't even see them anymore. Addiction isn't about being weak or lacking self-control. It's about seeking relief from an inner suffering you can't explain. It's your mind's desperate attempt to silence the wounds that never healed. But the more you turn to addiction, the more that pain consumes you. The problem isn't the substance, the habit, or the compulsion. It's the unresolved emotions and the hidden trauma that you've been trying to outrun. Until you confront that pain, addiction will never truly be broken. Now, let's take a deeper dive into the cycle that keeps you trapped. Imagine running from your pain, hoping to escape it forever. The harder you run, the stronger it gets. This is the cruel paradox of addiction. The more you try to escape your inner wounds, the deeper they grow. Carl Jung, a disciple of Freud, introduced the idea of the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we suppress and deny. These are the hidden aspects of our psyche, fears, desires, memories that we refuse to acknowledge. And what happens when we refuse to face these parts of ourselves? They come back, often in the form of addiction. The addiction itself isn't the root of the issue. It's a desperate attempt to avoid confronting the shadow. Every time you turn to that drink, that smoke, or that endless scroll on your phone, you're not seeking pleasure. You're trying to outrun something deeper, a part of yourself you can't face. But here's the trap. The more you run, the more control that shadow has over you. It's like trying to hide from your own reflection. The pain doesn't go away. It grows stronger, more consuming, until it takes over. The cycle continues. Addiction provides temporary relief, but it never heals the underlying wounds. You try to run, but the shadow only grows bigger. To break free, you must confront what's hidden within and face the very pain you've been running from. Now, let's dive into a crucial insight from one of the leading voices on addiction, Dr. Gabor Maté. Maté, a renowned physician and addiction expert, has spent his life studying the root causes of addiction, and his conclusion is profound. Addiction is not a disease of the body, but of the soul. It's a desperate attempt to numb the pain that's been buried deep inside you. Maté argues that addiction stems from unresolved trauma, experiences from your past that you may not even remember consciously. These experiences, particularly in childhood, plant the seeds for the pain you try to escape as an adult. Whether it's neglect, emotional pain, or even unspoken expectations, trauma leaves a mark on your soul. And when that pain is ignored or unprocessed, it often leads to addiction. You see, addiction isn't about the substance itself. It's about what the substance helps you forget. It's a temporary relief from the deep, unresolved wounds that have never healed. The more you try to escape them, the more these wounds control you, leading to the cycle of dependency. But here's the most important part. Healing begins when you confront these traumas. It's about recognizing that the pain you've been running from isn't just something to forget. It's something to understand, to face, and to process. Only then can the cycle of addiction start to break. Healing isn't about avoiding pain or suppressing it. It's about facing it head-on. The truth is, you've been running for so long that you've forgotten what it means to simply sit with yourself. You've been numbing the pain, distracting yourself, and convincing yourself that it'll go away if you ignore it long enough. But here's the harsh reality. Running only makes it stronger. To truly heal, you must stop running. You must look that pain in the eyes and ask, what are you trying to tell me? Because pain, no matter how dark or uncomfortable, has a message. It's a signal, a sign that something inside you needs attention. The question is not how to eliminate the pain, but how to understand it. Sigmund Freud taught us that the unconscious mind controls much of our behavior, including our addictions, the things we suppress, the things we avoid. Those are the things that control us. But once we bring them to light, once we confront them, they lose their power. It's not easy. Facing your pain is terrifying. It means acknowledging the parts of you that you've tried so hard to forget. But this is where true transformation begins. When you confront the pain, you stop running from your shadow. You stop letting it control you. You become the master of your own story. Healing isn't instant, and it's not easy. It's a process of self-discovery and acceptance. It's about learning to treat yourself with compassion, to forgive yourself, and to understand the wounds that made you seek escape. Only when you face the pain, when you stop running, can you begin to truly transform and set yourself free from the cycle of addiction. Addiction is often seen as an individual battle, something you have to fight on your own. But that belief couldn't be further from the truth. The real path to healing isn't about isolating yourself, it's about connection. You may think you're alone in your struggle, that no one else could possibly understand the depth of your pain. But here's the truth. Healing isn't just an individual process. It's a collective one. No one truly heals alone. Gabor Maté, in his profound understanding of addiction, points out that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. When you feel seen, understood, and supported, the grip of addiction weakens. It's not just about quitting the behavior. It's about rebuilding the emotional ties that have been broken over the years. Connection to others, whether through therapy, support groups, or loved ones, is what allows you to process and heal the pain that addiction tries to cover up. Freud and Jung both understood the importance of integrating our unconscious conflicts and wounds. But this integration happens not in isolation, but through relationships, through people who can hold space for your pain without judgment, who can help you make sense of it. When you allow others to walk with you, you begin to understand that you're not fighting alone. You begin to break down the walls of isolation, and in doing so, you start to rebuild the most important connection, the one with yourself. Here we stand at the crossroads, facing the truth about addiction, pain, and healing. You've heard the stories, the theories, and the science behind your struggle. But now, it's time for you to decide. Are you ready to change? The road ahead is not easy. Transformation isn't about quitting a bad habit. It's about a rebirth. It's about shedding the layers of your past that no longer serve you, the identity built around pain and addiction. It's about becoming someone new. You can't heal by pretending the past doesn't matter, but you can change by facing it. You must confront your wounds, understand them, and use that knowledge to rebuild your life. This is your moment, your chance to stop running, to stop hiding, and to begin the real work of healing. This is not a journey you take alone. With support, connection, and self-compassion, you can break the cycle. Addiction doesn't have to define you. Your past doesn't have to control you. You have the power to transform the pain into something greater, something that helps you grow rather than destroys you. So, take the first step. Stop escaping. Look within. It's time to rise, to be reborn, and to live a life free from the chains of addiction. Now, the choice is yours. You can stay where you are, trapped in the cycle, or you can take control and start anew. This is your invitation to change, to look within and confront what you've been running from, to heal, to rebuild, and to become the person you were always meant to be. You are not alone on this journey. Reach out, find the support you need, embrace your pain, and turn it into something powerful. The path to freedom begins now. Step forward and reclaim your life. Are you ready? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to drop a comment below and share your opinions. We read every single one. Thanks for watching.